Yeah.
That's okay.
What's up?
I don't care. So, hey, everybody. Of course, I think you might know who I am. If not, let me introduce myself again. My name is Gabriel Leal, and along with me this evening is my podcast co-host, and her name is Annie Leib. And make sure I spelled it right because I did misspell it right. I misspelled it wrong, and it's not hard to do, but it sucks because my last name is very close to hers, right? Look at the letters on the bottom. I mean, really, the A,
we're
the
just
B,
gonna get married and just have it be the same name, you know?
And I go, what the hell? I mean, I go, you got to be kidding me. So yeah,
I felt bad saying it too. I'm like, dude, that's a really cute like frame, but my name is spelled wrong, brother.
Right? Can you imagine that being like Gary V and go, hey, I spelled your name wrong?
Yeah, Gary, Gray.
Yeah, Grai. I put an I on the head of his name and go, hey, Gary. Hey, guys, I got Gary Vaynerchuk here. Check it out. I mean,
he's like,
I'm pretty sure he'll probably tell me, but oh well.
Oh, he would tell you for sure.
You know, I would just.
Well, why do you think he changed it to Gary V? I mean, it's because no one could spell his last name. Just made it that much easier to shorten it, right?
Oh, I guess so. That's true.
One of the reasons.
One of the reasons, but I would have to be like super apologetic and go, okay, bad mistake on my part, but that just tells you that we are. I would bring it up to him. That just means we're human. That's all right.
Gary. I like the spin. Or you could say, just wanted to see if you were paying attention, Gar.
You were. Good job, man. Gold star.
Nice work. You know how to spell your name. Cool. Gold
star. So, just real quick, everybody, we wanted to come on here and try something new. We're actually going live with what we usually do is we record and then we do a podcast. But you know what? I said, I love live streaming so much. And guess what?
I'm going to get enough of it.
And I'm going to bring Annie along with me. And she's on fire today. So that's why I said, you know what? Let's jump on.
Today's a fire day.
So Annie as well has her own podcast, which, so Steve's even look at that. Steve's hello, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Mr. Positivity.
Yes, he's
very positive.
So Steve Sullivan is watching along and going into what I was about to talk about. She has her own podcast out now, guys. So if you have not listened to it, let me recommend it. It is Living with Anitude. And you can find it on Anchor. On Spotify, Anchor. You can probably find it on as well. Most of the channels that they stream out to are a lot of the same channels that stream out with some of the podcasts.
They keep telling me other ones that they're putting it on, but I recorded it on Anchor. We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'll tell them it's usually Overcast, Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, Breaker. There's Radiocast, and there's of course, Spotify, where it goes on. So if you haven't checked it out, I believe she has 5 episodes already. And
they're short. They're short, just little, like if you need a boost, you want to hear talk about something important, a little kindness, little love.
Yeah. So, living with it, Steve. It's Living with Anitude. That's right.
Yes, Living with Anitude.
That is it, Steve. So thank you so much, Mr. Sullivan, for watching. And one of the reasons that first of all, for those who don't know and how me and Annie got connected, we met through a chance conversation on LinkedIn, which was, that's why I say it's such a wonderful platform. The connections that I've built off of that platform,
incredible,
have been amazing in my life and how things have formulated here for me. So, we started having I believe it was we had like an hour-long conversation. We started just talking about, trying to remember, sports. First of all, we were talking about.
That's what it started. It started as football for sure.
For football, because I can't miss the fun. Exactly. So thank you, Steve. Steve's awesome. And he was kind of like, again, another relationship on LinkedIn that I met.
Me too.
He was one of the first guys to reach out to me, and we talked about this on the show. He even schooled me on my own show when he was on. That was kind of awesome. Oh gosh, Pull that up.
Mikey. I love when people show up for us.
Well, it takes.
Nice.
You want to talk about taking the wind under my sails? That's one way to do it. Jeez Louise, I already have to. Here's the wonderful part, and here's the most wonderful, cruel part about my relationships with these two. Number one, Annie's super cool, but then we found out she's an Eagles fan. Of all the places in the world, I mean, she has to be an Eagles fan, right? So, okay, cool. Then I mean,
because there's no other city, man. There's just no other city. It's like where America started.
So then Mike, of course, me and him, and we have a really great relationship. And Mike's been on the show a few times. He's the unofficial co-host of the Made from Scratch broadcast, and he is a Giants fan. So you want to talk about a cruel world? All I need now is
we're like the NFC East together.
All I need is have another best friend who's a Redskins fan, and I'm fucked, and that would make my world such.
They're not invited to the Three Musketeers party. I gotta tell you, they are not invited.
So, and that's where we came up for the concept of the show name, because we, first of all, we're talking about football, and that's games, of course, and then we were talking about the human mind and so many different aspects about mental health wellness. There's, and that was one of the things that we really got off on when we first connected, was just how many interesting things there are to talk about the human mind. And we wanted to start doing this as a regular podcast. And gosh, we planned this for a while. And then finally, we started putting everything together. And here's the thing. I started doing my other live show and did not know it would take off the way it has. And that was not the original intention. It was just something that I was trying to do because I wanted to do something different. So, Chiefs fan.
Oh, God. Andy Reid, please stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Steve.
He does have room to talk, though, this year. He can talk about it. It's all right.
Yeah, you still got it. You still
I'll
got
deal.
Yeah, of course but see, Steve, gosh, you threw my train of mind off with that stuff.
Well, I have a thought. So
go ahead.
Jump into what you're saying is the reason that we put together the mind games thing was because we were talking about the mind and the brain and how it works. And we've talked a lot in the couple times that we've recorded, but haven't played live, where that, why are more people not doing this? Why are more people not coming out and talking and saying how they feel? And we've talked about their voices and why it is that people are so afraid to speak up and use their voice. And I was complimenting you when we were offline before, talking about why you're becoming so successful. And it's because you're willing to put your voice out there and do so consistently. Mm-hmm. And we were saying how it doesn't really matter what you talk about. The way we work as people is we have to just get connected. We have to use our voice and feel confident doing that. And, that voice inside your head that's telling you can't do it is full of shit. They're full of shit.
It is 100%. And if you keep listening to that voice, guess what? You'll never craft your voice. You'll not be able to speak out. You will actually live your life as a doormat for somebody.
Or live somebody else's life.
Which is not what we want. This is why it's been a little bit refreshing to see people frustrated enough to go out there and share their voice, be angry about some of the things that are going on, or be
silver lining. One silver lining
in it is people are starting to say, you know what, enough is enough. I am going to use my voice. I am going to go out there and do this. I am going to reach out to whoever. And again, they're starting to do this, and it's really great because it's opening a lot of channels of dialogue, so people can actually start getting out on the table, actually figuring out understanding in some of these situations. I mean, this whole year has been such I don't even know what to call it, because it's been
a clusterfuck of a year. Honestly,
yeah, you're going.
Sorry.
What is this whole thing been about, right? So here we are. We're getting out there. People saying, "Oh, 2020 is going to be an awesome year, new decade. Let's get everything going." People were really excited. I talked to so many people. Hey, I created vision boards. I did all this other stuff. And there was so much passion and wanted to start a new decade off on the right foot. And then March comes, and then it's like,
I know everybody felt like that. 2020, we're going to do it this year. We're really going to make things happen. We're going to make, and then pandemic, and then this racial, this gigantic event with George Floyd, finally, honestly, coming to fruition, because the social unjust that's going on and unrest that's happening is so important that it needs to be happening right now. But it's like it never ends. None of this is. It's like we just want to just stop for a minute. We just like have some normalcy. But what is normalcy, right? I mean, isn't that affecting our mental health a little bit too? I think that's important to touch on.
It is, and especially for a lot of people. I mean, I remember seeing a lot of stories at the beginning of a lot of the pandemic, and people were staying sheltered in it. People were talking about suicide rates because people were, again,
we have to have connection. Connection is so important.
And you go, oh my gosh, you're telling people to shut off from the world. I mean, unless you were like a straight up introvert and that's what you wanted out of everything, then you were probably like, okay, cool. I don't have to go out for hardly anything anymore. Everything kind of was catered to you. But for those who are like me, who were really extroverts and wanted to, and love connection and talking with people and just being around folks, it's been a struggle.
You know what else? It's the uncertainty. The uncertainty piece of all of this has made people actually go crazy. It's like there's no end. You don't know the end. Where's the end? What's the date? What's our timeline? And no one can tell us. All we can hear is there's going to be a worse surge. There's going to be people are doing this. People are doing. What are we going to? When's there going to be a date? At least somebody like me, I just want to know. Like if it's going to be 6 months, like just tell me so I can prepare. But it's like we don't have a date. We don't know. So that uncertainty piece makes you a little cuckoo. How long am I going to be stuck in the house with the kids? I love them to death, but good Lord, I can't homeschool anymore. I mean, I can't do one more worksheet.
Yeah. So yes, Steve, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have gone in there and thrown the damn calendar back at the sales representative and said, you know what? I want to know. This is not working. Yeah. You gave me the wrong calendar.
I want a redo.
But even now, so things are still going where things are still going crazy with people protesting out in the streets and stuff. And then you're still on top of that, you're starting to see COVID numbers starting to go back up in a lot of states. And it's like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't right now. Because again, you want to get out there, you want to protest, you want to go and connect. But then here's the thing: if people are they're being careless going out in some of these.
Well, people are not following rules and they're not listening to what. That's the thing, though. Here's the problem: is that there's so many different. Who do you follow? Who do you listen to? And it's very scary to not have a determination of when this is going to be and what this is going to be and what we should do. 6 feet. Oh, it's a week quarantine. It's 2 weeks. If like the exposure, and it's like, when are we going to be able to live our lives? So I understand the people that just want to get out, but like, dude, wear a mask. Like if you're going to go wear a mask, or like stay 6 feet, like it's not like we have to stay in our houses. Like we can go out, but we have to protect ourselves, because look at the numbers now. And now there's going to be more deaths. I mean, it's just unprecedented.
Exactly. And again, misinformation. You're getting so much information from different channels. CDC tells you one thing, the WHO tells you another thing. You get stuff coming from the White House about certain things, talking about like that. Hydro. I can't remember the name of the drug.
The hydrocode. I forget what it's called. Whatever it is, the malaria drug. I forget, hydrocodone or whatever. I forget.
It's hydrochloroquine is what it's called.
That. And now it's been, the FDA came out now today and said that not only is it not going to work, but it's being pulled. Don't take it. And our president is,
He's like, so you see, like, you want to talk about crossing signals and go, what the fuck?
Misinformation.
what am I supposed to believe? It can be confusing at times. So I can understand the frustration that a lot of people have. I've been on the whole thing about, even when we go out, I still wear masks, I still wear gloves, because
I'm saying.
I had to spend 2 weeks in quarantine. Though. I was like, I'm not going to do that again. Screw that. Yes, it seemed like fun for a little bit, but then after a while, you start going, "Oh, I want out."
Well, you know what's funny is people that are like this is what I think. People that are with their husbands and wives are like so sick of it and so annoyed. And like most of them, this is a real test of your relationship, right? But the people that are single are like, I just want to be with somebody, quarantine with somebody. That'd be so much better. I'm single, I'm bored, you know? So everybody's like, grass is always greener, you know? Like as a single mom, I'm like, on my nights off, I'm like, well, it'd be cool to be quarantined with somebody. And then, you know, the husbands and wives are like, I'm going to kill him. You know,
right.
Get me away. Right? I'm working. I'm cleaning. I'm with the kids every second. They're up my ass.
Right.
So it's like, who's happy? You know, when you find that one couple that's happy, you're like, all right, you're doing great. You're doing really great.
Well, it's usually the older couple that's got separate rooms, 2 beds, different TVs, the whole setup. And they're the ones like, we got it going on.
We're good. Everybody's good.
Yeah, everybody's good.
We live on the East Wing and the West Wing.
So it's usually those folks that are making it really work, because again, we are people who like to go out and have our space. And you know, when you're stuck like that, that stuff becomes non-existent. And worst of all, whenever kids are around, because you're not that the kids are awesome, kids are great. I love kids. I know I got 4 of them.
You have a lot of kids.
But the thing is, to take 10 minutes out of your day or 20 minutes, or can you imagine trying to sit down? Here's a dilemma my wife faces. Trying to watch a 2-hour movie. It becomes a 4-hour ordeal.
What, you're picking it? You're picking it? And you can't decide?
No. She says, okay, I have a movie, 2-hour movie I want to watch, right? Here it is. I put it on. It takes 4 hours to watch, because every time it starts something, the kid comes in.
You don't have handcuffs for them? You don't do that? Is that wrong? You don't bribe them like with candy, bags and bags of candy. You ever go to Five Below?
Yeah, until the candy's gone, and they're back over there going, candy's gone.
Watching a movie. Yeah, I know. You got to start a movie around 11 or 12 at night. That's when you start it.
Yeah. Or you better get up at, you know what it is? Get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and watch a movie.
That sounds like a great date. Get up at 5 and watch a movie for a date.
Watch a movie, because the kids will still be out, because they were up till midnight playing Fortnite. So cool, they won't be up early.
Yep, mine too. It's the best part of quarantine. They sleep late because I let them stay up late. I'm a terrible. My mother, it's gone from like way up here, like plummeting down to just, I'm not the gold standard of mothering these days.
No, let me tell you what, I think that's a sliding scale for a lot of mothers. Not just you. Like I've had mothers on, like when it was on with us, Harpreet, when she came on, she was like, my kids would be up till 2 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't even know. They'd go like 2 days without showers. And I go, have you showered yet? And, but again, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because it's something that you did not plan for. And it's something that even now we talked about going back to school. So a lot of the school systems are trying to figure out how they're going to do this and what they're going to do. And we were having a discussion about the kids. And I said, well, she wanted to know my opinion. And we were talking about it. She goes, well, I don't know. I kind of do and I kind of don't. And I said, okay, I can understand.
I kind of don't what you're saying.
But here's the problem. Kids are like petri dishes. They do not know the difference of, hey, do not sneeze. Take your elbow and sneeze in it. It's just reactionary. Boom, there it is. Boom,
I know, especially the little ones. I know.
They don't know. So it's whatever that happens. So
what were you going to say? That she doesn't want them to go, right?
Yeah, we're not going to send them, because
Gabe, you're not the only one, man. There's so many people.
I told her, well, if they get sick, here's our dilemma. If one of them gets sick, that means if they're sick, we're going to have to quarantine him. Somebody's going to have to watch whichever one of the four is quarantined. And then on top of that, and if you get sick, what are you going to do? Then I'm going to have to go and take time off from work.
It's awful. So until there's a vaccine, which we don't know when that's going
to happen, it's going to be the situation. And
so who's coming to my house to homeschool? Because I'm not doing it. I just want to. Who are you hiring? Because I am Gabe. Let me explain to you right now. Okay, I quit. I quit as a mother if I have to homeschool.
Because
everyone.
Exactly. So it can be. But I totally feel your pain, because all this transition happened while I was in quarantine, and my wife is not the most technical person, so that was a struggle. Thank God for my daughter, because she is she's a little bit technical savvy and helped her out.
Like, what do you mean? What happened? Oh, for school.
For school, yeah, setting up Zoom calls, doing turning in assignments online, how to do PDF files for online work. A lot of this stuff, she's like, I got no clue. I don't know. So Kenneth Dunner Jr., thank you, sir. You are always Kenneth.
He's so sweet.
He is. He's got his own style. Kenneth.
He marches to the beat.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Ken.
We love it.
You keep being Ken. Exactly. So that was a hard fact for us to deal with. And going forward, I'm like, well, I can help you do a lot of the technical stuff as far as how to turn in assignments, do all these other things. If you're going to homeschool them, we're actually going to have to do like a schedule where they're going to have to get up like regular school.
I know, we tried that.
And it's hard. I know it is.
They don't listen. They don't want to do it. They're crying. My little girl's like hysterical. I mean,
yeah. So
that's true. Kahoot's a great app. Kahoot is a great app.
So that's one of the things that we're thinking about going forward. Is we're gonna have to start getting them on because we were, before all this happened, had them on a really great routine. Awesome,
totally.
Right? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
We knew what time I was getting up, when they were going to school. I was driving them. I was going to work.
Hey, brush teeth, wash face. Let's go lay down. Let's say prayers. Go to bed. Boom, and then go from there.
And it all went to shit. It all went to shit.
And then the atom bomb of atom bombs dropped on this year, and even now, some people are still. I know people still haven't recovered.
Oh God, I pray for people that are sick.
It's
dealing with that.
It's been terrible. My friend, I gotta say a prayer for him, because again, he's had a really horrible 2020. But he's gonna get through it. He's been a real nice guy. His father passed away in February, and then his wife passed away this morning. So on top of that, not to bring a downer, but he's going to be resilient. He's always been resilient.
Yeah. We'll send him positive good vibes.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I'm going to send him some good vibes.
It's been a very, very rough year. And again, dealing with COVID, and then he was furloughed. I mean, it's been, so my whole thing is, I take an example from him. If he can still get up every morning and get up and go
then you can
do the good fight, so can I. So whatever, the homeschools, all of this stuff, I know it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I know we're complaining and stuff. I'm being funny. Like, I mean, I get it. I'm not.
That's why it put a lot of things in perspective. And if you have not get perspective, you will get perspective sooner or later, because this year has been very keen on teaching everybody that.
Well, you know what's a good thing to do? Like when you're feeling really crappy about whatever's going on. This is why I set my gratitude alarm that goes off in my phone every night at 8:00.
Yeah.
Because when you're feeling like that, at any time you're feeling that way, stop and make a gratitude list. if you're like in the moment in a fight with somebody and you just want to say the meanest things, stop and make I know it sounds ridiculous because you really have to have a lot of self-awareness and control. But if you can just think of 3 things, and not like, I try to get specific, you know, like I'm really specific about what I'm grateful for. I'm really grateful for this conversation today with this person. And when you can get specific, then you start to think to yourself, okay, these are the things that I have in my life. These are the things that are part of my heart and my soul. And when you can do that, it makes you realize the bigger picture.
Yes.
Of things. They might stink. They might very well stink, and that's okay. But there are reasons that you're here, and there are reasons to be appreciative and grateful. Always, no matter how bad shit is.
Exactly. For every hard, because for every hard conversation you're going to have, you got to understand that there'll be some kind of good that'll come out of it if you do something like that. I mean, it's tough to have those conversations. It really is, to bring it to the table and say, okay, let's talk. You know, how many times have you sit down and you heard that and you go, you already?
I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm always in trouble for something.
So,
Gabe, don't say that to me, please. Don't.
That's always been a kind of key thing to say. Okay, let me get in that mind state, because I know something. I mean, when I got told that I was going to have to go home for quarantine, my boss called me in and he says, "Hey, let's talk."
Oh man. So I got to go back to one thing that we're talking about, the brain, right?
Yes.
I don't have the facts in front of me because I didn't do the research on it, but it's a clinical fact that saying things that you're grateful for can actually heighten your mood. It is clinically proven. So if you're in like a bad space and you're like, everything sucks, I can't go to work, I can't see my husband, I'm getting a divorce, my kid is, you know, hating school and won't go to the Zoom session for math, whatever. Like everything sucks. I feel like crap. I haven't been exercising. I gained weight, blah, blah, blah. Right. If you make that gratitude list, like I said, it really, I swear to you, like there's chemicals in the brain that actually change, and it physically, like it mentally like lifts you. It's so super cool. So just try it. I know that it's not what you want to do when you feel like shit. I know that.
Believe me, be open to so many different things, because you never know what's going to work for you. Like I'm telling you, people, you know me, Mike knows me. A lot of people know me really well. The other night when I did tapping with my guest,
EFT,
that was a different experience. I've never.
Tell me about that. Tell me about tapping.
So
I know what it is, but tell everybody.
So here was the whole thing, right? We got on the conversation about one of the things that I've talked about in front of everybody, about public speaking, why I had to fear, where the moment was, why. I mean, I could pinpoint what happened at that point. It made me not want to be in front of people and talk. And when we started,
most people have that fear, by the way, Jay.
Exactly.
It's pretty common fear.
But you know, here I am. I'm doing a live video show in front of hundreds of people, and I still have the fear of standing in front of eyeballs. That's the difference. Exactly. So people staring at me.
Peepers. I get it.
Yeah. So she said, "Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tap." And what she did was she walked me through the process of how to get you out of that mindset.
So tell me what happened. I want to hear that.
So here we were. She goes, "Okay, this is what I want to walk you through the process." And she said, "First of all, we're going to repeat." We repeated 3 different times why it was well, first of all, what my fear was, right? And at the same time, I was making an association with what I was talking about. She says, "I need you to tap your hand here."
Oh yeah, here, yeah. I know that part. Yeah.
So she goes, "We're going to tap here," and then she says, "Keep saying it. We're going to keep repeating it. It's okay that you're afraid that, you know." And we walked through the whole process, and then the next step, she goes, "Okay, now you're going to tell yourself it was okay to feel that way." And I went to tapping on my head.
Give yourself permission.
Permission, right? All right. And then we went for the next step. She goes, "Okay, where do you feel the pain? Where do you feel? Tell me where." And I told her, well, at the time I was feeling it right here in my chest.
Yeah.
So we started tapping, and then finally she says, "Okay, once we're done, I need you to I need you to inhale very deeply, exhale, and then push it out." And then once I did all the tapping signs, because it was pinpoints where that we were actually associating with each command. So I was okay here, or it was explaining what my fear was, telling me it was okay, telling me it was okay to feel it,
Oh.
and then
letting it out.
letting it out. And then once I was done, I felt light. She's like, you wouldn't believe how many people say that. You feel light. There was a weight lifted in that moment.
Did you feel like you could speak in front of a group?
I felt like I could go. I could go do anything. I told her I got to go fucking write. My mind was so. It was a clear moment in my mind where there was clarity. I haven't had clarity in a while. And I mean, and I mean, where it was like I felt like what it was when I was writing, and I didn't have a care in the world. It was just clear, and it was the weirdest fucking feeling in the world. And I had to tell her, first of all, thank you, because if you have an open mind and you allow yourself to do this sort of thing, you'll. The results, I mean, it lasted for almost a whole day.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, like, were you going into it, were you open? I know you're open-minded, but like, were you skeptical? Were you like, I'm excited, but like, there's no way this is going to work?
No, because again, we didn't plan on it. We just said, let's do it.
Okay.
So I didn't have preconceived. I didn't have time to see. Yeah, I have no preconceived notions about what we were talking about.
So that voice in your head wasn't even there.
Wasn't even there.
Yeah.
It was instantly going, boom, let's do it. Are you ready? Let's jump. And that's what we did. And it was crazy. And I told Mike, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to write. I got off the phone with him. I even got on, I got on live on Twitch with my kids for a little while. Then I got off and I started writing. It got in my book. And I said, okay, I got to get going. This is, I haven't been flow like this in a while. And it lasted until, to tell you the truth, about Sunday midday, I was like, okay, now
I can use another tapping session.
Tapping session, because again, it felt really, really good from Friday night.
So it's also called EFT, right?
Yes, EFT is
also EFT.
Yes, EFT is what it's called. It's
okay.
But again, I did not have any preconceived notions in going into it because we did not plan on doing it. I had never met. We did not have a conversation, a pre-show conversation or anything until 10 minutes before we came on. And her voice was calming. Her presence was calming. And when we did it, it was instantaneous. So I didn't have time to put up any kind of filter or block. It was,
that's the cool part. That's what made it, I think, so different for you, is that there was no preparation. You didn't have to think about it. It wasn't even a thought.
It wasn't even a thought. And I said, if you have an open mind, people, it is incredible.
Wow.
This is
so
why
cool. I want to do it right now. I wish we could have. I wish you could come on.
I've been telling people, if you don't believe in people being able to be hypnotized, it's true.
I believe that. I believe in all this stuff.
You might think it looks like hooey fooey or whatever, but the
mind is a powerful tool.
Exactly.
The brain is very complex.
That's what I'm telling. I've told people, if you don't believe it, just go Google Howie Mandel and what his OCD is and how much of a
what he's able to do.
His germaphobe. And then there's a segment on America's Got Talent where this hypnotist comes on, hypnotizes him. He's shaking people's hands with his hands. He has not done that in years, and everybody was shocked. And he even went on. I even watched a episode he had on in a news station in New York afterwards, and he's like, "Yeah, I had to go see my therapist because it fucked me up." Because he goes, it's like feeling like you're drunk. There's somebody else controlling your mind and telling you what to do, and it sounds like it's your mind telling you it's okay. He goes, it was incredible. He goes, you know me. I don't shake people's hands. I don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He goes, why would I do it for a show? There's 100. He goes, I've dealt with hundreds of other contestants on here before, and I shake none of their hands. I don't do none of that.
Yeah.
He goes, so it was, I saw that and I go, at that point I knew you can tap into the mind.
Oh, for sure. The
sure.
brain is so much more complex than we even know,
Oh,
than
yeah.
we even realize.
So and that's why I said we had to start talking about the human mind and how all the elements that build it up. There's so many different aspects about learning about how your mind works and how it operates, and there's not one cure all to say this will help me do this. Tapping might not work for some people. I get it.
Well, it's the same as anything, like you just try different things to feel better.
But if somebody does a gratitude journal and it helps them, why not?
I know. Try it.
It helps you. Cup. That cup again. So
when I poured my lemon water tonight, I said, "Can we use this mug again?" It makes me so happy.
It does, right? So, Mike, I'm glad y'all are watching. It's just this is like torture.
Oh, I'm quite sure Mike's watching. He's just being quiet.
He is.
There's no way he would miss us.
Well, of course, he's saying, there you go, right? It's he's saying, what else can tapping? Well, the way she's using tapping is she's using it as an instrument in education to help kids with their anxiety of learning and dealing with math. So she's a mathematician. That's what she's.
That's what I heard when I listened to you guys. That was amazing. I wish I had that.
That's her trade. She's a mathematician. She's her
PhD in mathematics. Like, that's pretty intense. That's a lot of math. And
yet she goes, I see the system's broken. I need to find another way. And that's how. And she went and found out how to use EFT. Amazing. Does she have clients? Does she have like yes,
family?
She's got clients that have reached out and have gone through that with her. And I mean, it's so much so that they found her so interesting. They let her do a TEDx talk. Now, they don't give those to everybody. You got to have some kind of interest. You got to be some kind of interesting person to get on the stage and be able to talk in front of people and that sort of thing. And what she brought to the table, I got to give a shout out to, of course, to Francine Sinclair. She was the one in the background who kind of hooked us up together and put the whole ordeal together. But that kind of like helped change my life a little bit. I want to start. I bought a book on tapping. I want to delve deeper into it because now I am obsessed with how it can. I mean, I'm going to ask. I got a guy that, of course, Mike Padrano hooked me up with. His name is Eric Miller, who's coming on the show, and he is a NHP practitioner who also delves into tapping. And
so apparently there's you can get directions online if you're interested in doing this. There's the karate chop point. Yeah. There's the sore spots are here in your your chest muscles, and there's all things that that align with different parts of you.
Yeah. So we went, I think for that evening, if I can remember correctly, we went hand, we went top of the head, we went under the eye, we went to the side
of the eye, right?
Yeah, went side of the eye, we went under my mouth, then we went
under the nose, right here, too, right?
Yep. And then we went to my chest, and then right under my right arm, she said lift and pull. And that was like each point.
Yeah, that's exactly. And collarbone it says too.
So that was each point kind of was
equated to a different.
Yes. And it was I'm telling you, it was one of the best and most weird experiences that I've had, because again, I have felt that before, and we did it twice, and it worked 2 times, and it was for 2 different things.
You said what you want. I have to go back and watch it, but you said what you wanted to get rid of or whatever, and you just kind of walked through it.
Yes, so that's what it was. She's like, the first time that we did it, we started talking about what is something that would make you angry. And I said, well, traffic makes me angry. I drive, so I fucking hate traffic. She goes, what specific thing about traffic do you hate? I said, I hate it when we're in a traffic jam and there's some asshole who thinks his life is more important than everybody else's. He can go down the median to get to wherever he's going, and the other 200 cars that are parked in the traffic jam just should wait but he's got to get his.
When he dismisses you, when he dismisses other people's importance.
So I get that angers me. And I don't really get angry, but I do when I drive. That's probably the one point where I do.
I've never seen you lose your cool.
No, driving, I do. I've been driving for over 20 years in different capacities, and seeing people do ignorant things gets me to the point where I get where I've almost got into confrontations with folks, and I'm not a confrontational guy.
No, you're like so chill all the time. This is important to note. I think you need to do more tapping. You're driving. I'm worried about you.
So that was one of the things that we talked about. And then once we did it the first time, she says, "Where did you feel your pain?" I said, "I feel it in my back. I got tense."
Oh, interesting.
I said, "I got tense in my back. I got kind of like where I was angry and I wanted whatever." And we did it the first time. Oof. It went away. I was like, cool. I said, I feel, thank you. I felt like I felt calm. And the rest of the conversation.
So Gabe, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to be in traffic and do tap? Or are you supposed to tap before traffic?
Well, I think she says at the point of when it happens. So if you're at that point of reference, and yes, get yourself into a different mind state, and wherever you're at, tap, take the time and get yourself into a different mindset. And then I'm telling you, you're like, cool. Whatever we were talking about after that, I got to tell you, the next 5 minutes, I don't remember.
Really?
Yes, because
incredible.
My mind was not focused on the conversation. My mind was actually clear. I'm telling you, I felt clarity.
You said that. You said that right after. You're like, I was so clear. Like, I'm just on fire. I'm so clear.
I felt clear, right? And imagine somebody just took a whiteboard and wiped whatever the hell was on your whiteboard right there, and you got nothing there. It's nothing. So there was nothing there. I'm having conversations with her. I don't remember the next 5 minutes. And then once we started getting a little bit further along, and we started talking about how she got into doing a TEDx talk and everything else. And then I told her about my fear of public speaking, and we did it the second time. And the second time, it was a different spot where I was feeling pressure. She says, where are you feeling the pressure? And I told her, I feel it in my chest, not my back. I felt it in my chest because I tensed up. I felt talking about standing in front of people. I mean, it's scary. So we did it the second time, same process, went through the same steps. And again, I was taken back to that spot where I was 15 minutes earlier. And I think once you get in that mindset, and the second time, it was a lot easier. It was
you were more open to it, probably even more open to it.
More open. I was like, I want more. It was almost like a drug. Give me more. I want more.
I understand.
So I told myself that next time that I try something like that, I want to make sure I got a good open mind about it, because I liked the way I felt afterwards.
You were on a high almost. Right?
and I wanted more. I mean, really, I told her I told her afterwards, I feel like I could fucking fly. Of course, I'd probably fall on my ass, but I told her I feel like
I would try.
I feel like it. So it was an interesting thing. And I said, I wish I would have had this for my other show, because that would have been like, whoa. So I might set it up where I can bring her on with both of us, and we need to go
I want to call her right now. Like, I want to do this right now. I'm so pumped. You pumped me up so much for this. I'm excited. Do you think she would get on right now if we ping her?
I don't know. She's got a mastermind that she's doing a 4-day workshop for her Facebook group the next 4 days. So I don't want to.
So she's probably like preparing and ready
for
can help us a little bit. A little bit of tapping before bed.
So here's what I want to do. I'm going to plan the next one though, and we're going to have her on, and you're going to go through the process with me again, because again, it was and in that moment, it was a really great feeling to have. and I wish I could have just like you were on fire today. That's how I wish I could have been Friday, and just go grab my bottle and say, hey, hold on, let me scoop some of them, a little bit of that dust in here and save it for when I need it. And it was.
I bet you, G, the more you do it, I bet you like you could save up, like you could like, because you tap into the tapping, you know, when you're not doing it. Like,
that's why I went and looked at the book that she suggested during the show, and I went and got it online because I want more. Felt like maybe she's like a mind crack dealer. I don't know, but I want more.
She is addicted. You have an addict right here.
I'm an addict. So if you guys,
that's for a whole other podcast, babe. Yes. For a whole other podcast.
Oh yeah, we still. That's why there's so many things we still haven't even talked into getting into addiction, because addiction is like
that's my thing. So I can't wait for that. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about mental health and how they converge, and I want to talk about the different reasons and the triggers and lots of stuff. I have so much.
There's so much to do. So much goodness. There's so much in the world, but it's awesome that we get to do this, Annie. So
I know it's so fun with you.
It is. Well, it's
and our guests pop up and our guys, they're chiming in. I love when they write to us.
You kind of make it fun. So it's fun for everybody who watches. What is it? I'm in for that one if allowed. Oh, okay.
Well, so we'll have to think about that one. We'll see.
We'll see.
People let you in that night.
We got
on the mental health addiction one.
Yeah. That's an interesting fact.
That's another guy that should be part of this.
Because again, his story and what he walked me through is really, really rough about what having to deal with addiction. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Oh, love it. Definitely want you to get involved. We love involvement.
That's one of the best ways to build up a community like this, is getting more and more people like that involved. I'm learning that every single day. Yeah, even the first one, as much as it was a logistic nightmare for me to try to figure out.
I mean, it was pretty off the cuff, but like it was pretty tough to do, and we
put it together in a week, so that's why it was a little bit harder to go. Okay, let's put all this stuff together, and
it was so time sensitive. It had to be right then. It's not like we you didn't rush it and throw it out the door. Like it needed to be right then.
But it had a purpose, and I think it really did serve a purpose. And here's the wonderful part about that: a lot of other relationships have been formed out of that roundtable.
You're exactly right. And the learning was, it was unprecedented for me. I had so much good learning and so much togetherness. And I really felt a sense of unity and collaboration, and just felt like I learned, like I was a sponge that day to understand a little bit more about racism.
There were so many wonderful people who are out there in the world, as I said. So like
they have a voice.
Like, and here's the one I have to attribute this to her, because I would have probably taken to sleep if I hadn't talked with her. But she was on the table that night. Her name's Mila Deschamps, and Mila is really, really. I mean, she is. Gosh, talk about compassion. Talk about empathy. Talk about
smart.
Yes, intelligent. She is a lot of things. So I had actually went on her show live the week before, and we were just talking about the George Floyd incident and what it was meaning to her. And she kind of said off the cuff that, hey, I wish that more people who had these forums would go out there and start using them to bring this message out. And that was kind of like a light bulb moment. Mike was watching. Mike was like, you know what? She's right.
Let's do it.
She's right.
Well, he's a doer. He's going to make shit happen. So we do it together.
We put it together, and I said, let's go. Let's start reaching out to folks that I knew, folks that he knew. We started just putting together a lot of interesting perspectives, which is what we wanted. And we did get a lot of interesting things that happened that night. And
it was heavy at some points. I was involved. It was heavy.
It was heavy, right? You felt that, but that's the thing about understanding. When you bring people to the table, with different thoughts, different views, different perspectives, different ways of looking at life. And this is what I think is what we as a race, and I mean human race altogether, have to understand.
That
So
there are different views.
when you see that sticker on somebody's car that says coexist, it's there for a reason. They understand that you got to be open to so many different things.
And you know what, Jay, like that was a hard, if people go back and watch, if anybody, like that was a hard situation for me to be in, because I was speaking in about one thing and there was a little controversy, and I truly, like, for the first time in my life, I was not going to be combative, because I'm just not combative like that. But I just like understood. And I thought to myself, this person has suffering and he's got a view and he's coming from a place that I can't understand. I can try to empathize. I can try to listen and hear. And, I listen with my heart and I speak with my heart, but like, I couldn't feel his pain because he was obviously angry and suffering. And I had to allow that, because that's what the reality of this is, right?
Yes.
Everybody's not going to agree, or what were we going to even talk about? So I felt like that was a learning for me to not react.
And it was tense. But let me tell you what, though, this is why we had to do what we do to pull it back a little bit. I too, like you, am a minority. Like you, my people are being persecuted right now. They are being chased out of this country. They are called criminals, thieves, leeches, whatever you want to call it. So for me to still have a view, go, okay, wait a minute. You're bringing back into the divide of what we're trying. You're doing the opposite of what we're trying to do here. Which is
you're going backwards. I mean,
you're going backwards with it, which is, hey, you're open to opinion. That's what we wanted, and that's what was part of why we wanted somebody like that on there. But
also I understood too, because I'm sorry to interrupt, but just I thought the same thing. You're going backwards. Let's go forward. But the bottom line of it is, we don't really understand what it's like to, well, I feel like I do a little bit with them taking the Holocaust out of history books and things like that. But I don't think most people can grasp, and I certainly can't grasp the enormity of this, that, a lot of people don't understand the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of slavery and everything that went along with the history. And I understand him saying you need to get educated and know where, I get that piece. I do. And not enough people are getting educated on what happened. Then it was time to sort of move on, because we want to know what we can do now. Yeah. So that's when I was like, all right, let's,
I get, yeah. And I'm like you, I get it. Look at the past. The past is our greatest teacher. If we continue to make the same mistakes, we're just living in that same circle of insanity. History has shown us how a empire can crumble. It can tell you how a race can be genocided. It can tell you how history will be the greatest teacher, but if we do not pay attention to it,
right. And I think that's what he was saying. It was very, very, very strong and forceful, aggressive kind of message, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all okay. It just is what it is.
That's part of the growth process. That's how, again, if you're going to bang out a quote unquote peace treaty, you got to have people from both sides to
devil's advocate.
Exactly. Negotiate everything else that goes along with it. So I understood that fact of what we did. So I just know that what we started doing and what we're trying to create is more forums like that to get not just racism at that point, but a lot of issues that are very, very overlooked. Tons of them. There's tons of them. I mean, let's talk about our education system. That's one we're gonna get to as well, because there's so many holes, glaring holes in.
And that's the root of, to me, education is the root of every. I mean, it's the ignorance, the things that people don't know, and the fact that these poor people are not able to be educated the way that others are. It just keeps the cycle going of rich get richer and poor get poorer. And I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Yeah,
that I'm passionate about that.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother topic, is getting into
it's another show.
That topic, the economical impact of being in certain environments. How can it affect? It can affect how the way you have an outlook on life. So of course, it is. So this is what we've got to do is
talk about it.
Education goes beyond just what sitting in a school teaches you. You know, there's a reason, like even with Marquise is a perfect example. Very gifted athlete, went into the NFL, lost all his money. Bad decisions, bad things, because we're not taught how to financially deal with money.
We're not taught how to have a relationship with money.
Yeah, money is either feared or it's loved, one of the two. People do not know how
They're not healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that really, I think, really is glaring missing in our education system, is how to teach financial literacy. I mean, we teach mathematics.
I think that like my thing with education is like there should be life skills. Like there needs to be more preparation for life instead of, maybe not instead of, but on top of, like, do we have to learn all the trigonometry?
Yeah.
Or can we skip that a little bit, and can we talk about like how to get your first apartment?
Yeah.
How to pay electric bills, and how to pay rent, and how to get a cosigner if you need to, and how to start a bank account and manage your money and your savings account. And don't you think we'd all be in a better place if we had a class that taught us those things?
Probably.
Just some life skills.
Yeah.
How to deal with life.
Because here's how it goes in life. Hey, you're 18, you graduated high school. See ya.
Yeah. If you got the money to do it, or the scholarship, or the whatever, then you can go to college. That's your next step. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you go and get a job. But does anyone teach you what to do? Anyone teach you about life etiquette, or what is it? You're just following the people around you. So if you don't have good role models, you're screwed.
Right? You're like, what am I supposed to be learning? I mean, if you want to learn about, I'm sorry. I thought something. I had to divert my eyes.
I'm sorry. It's hurtful for you. I know it's tough to be sitting in your seat. Along with Dak. He's such a gem.
I get frustrated. My running back tested positive for COVID-19.
Yep. Yeah. That's not the only thing he's done. Okay. Let's.
Of course, I know.
Let's not get started on him.
But
yeah. Sorry about that. So sorry. I'm so sorry. I just feel so bad.
You walk around and if I know I have my hat on with the big star on it, it's just like a big bullseye. I might as well just put it on.
You know better than to wear that around me. You know better. You know you're going to get your balls the whole time.
I should have brought it in there, but I didn't know the Eagles Cup was going to show up. So I've had, you know what, Annie, I've had a great time this evening.
Me too. It was a great, it was very real. It was the real deal and the real deal.
That's right. Real and it deal. Goes, and this is what I tell people: an hour can go by so fast when you're having fun, and then
my face hurts from smiling.
I've been actually doing this for, let's see, 7. Yes, I've been doing it about 3 hours. Awesome. If I can find
Thank you for having me and for doing this with me and for partnering.
If I can have a career doing this, it's even going to be greater.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there for you.
I will.
I support you. You will. You will, because you decided you will. That's why.
Yeah, I will. No problem. It's just keep going and do what I do. And
all about the attitude.
That's right.
All about the attitude.
What I want to read what he says.
He's telling a joke, Mikey. What do you get when you have an Eagles fan, Giants fan, and a Cowboys fan together? What do you get, Mike?
What do you get, Mike?
What you got? I want to know. I can't wait to find out the answer. What his answer to this is.
I'm afraid to look at it.
I'm a little scared of the answer.
Oh, I knew it.
This guy. Ah! Boom! I'm sorry. What? That's the Eagles fan and the Giants fan getting together against you. What did you say? What happened when Brady was supposed to catch that ball? What happened? What happened, Philly special? Yeah. So it was when Aikman was important.
Huh?
You know, when Troy Aikman was around, it was a good time for you guys.
Oh, it was. It was.
What was that?
It was the best.
What was that? Like 30 years ago?
Something like that. Well,
yeah.
I told Mike. Here's Mike. I told. I said, you know what the best part about it is, though? I mean, if you add your ring and his rings, it'd probably equal the same amount of rings we have. So
rings. Let's talk about today. Okay, let's talk about the brain. Your brain is messed up on something.
No,
Dallas.
See, you get the rings. Here's the thing: it's rings represent the the time and the commitment and the passion,
and we'll end on that note. We're gonna start. Anybody listening can start popping off.
Yes. Okay, yeah, everybody. So thank you so much for joining us on our first Mind Games podcast live. So
it was so fun.
Hopefully we can get a lot more of these in. I love doing live videos. I'm sorry, I just do.
Good stuff.
Number one, it's good stuff. You get a lot of good reaction. Number two, no editing work for me, and it is the best.
So easy. We are done.
We are done. So guys, thank you so much.
I don't bring enough trouble. You hope I don't bring like a lot of trouble that night. You know what I mean? That's all. You just hope.
Well, I do have the control here, so I can always.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. Thank you, everybody else. Mike Padurano, of course, Steve Sullivan, Kenneth Dunner Jr. You guys make this awesome. And I will see you tomorrow evening, 7:00. My guest will be Jennifer Garman. We're going to be talking about gratitude and neuroplasticity.
That's exciting.
Yes, she is a gratitude ambassador. She's written 2 books about it, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to read that.
All right,
what you wrote and see that.
Sure. All right, everybody, we'll see you tomorrow.
I gotta go.
Okay, peace. Hold tight. Bye, everybody else. You're out of here.
Peace.